I'm Dylan Radigan. I've interviewed nearly every CEO and most world leaders during the past 25 years. And now I'm bootstrapping. I'm turning my attention to the new CEOs and the irrepressible entrepreneurs leading the next generation of innovation in the world. Welcome back to Tasty Live. I am Dylan Radigan. This is Bootstrapping. Our guest, Eric Alexander, his company, Soundscape VR, virtual reality. But not just virtual reality. It is... I mean, I was looking at it, Eric, and I'm going to go full old man here, but it's okay. But it appears that it's basically a huge, like a music festival that exists in a virtual universe at its largest, right? It could be, it could be a rave outside of Berlin, but you don't have to leave your house, or you could just listen to a piece of music by yourself. I mean, am I understanding what this is? It's a universe of music for an individual or millions of people together?
Absolutely. We call it the musical metaverse. There's a whole lot of different experiences you can have within there, whether it's yourself and an artist, whether it's you and your friends, whether it's a live activation at a real life event where you can try this out.
So let's say, for instance, let's say I'm a DJ and I'm hosting a big event for New Year's, let's say, like whatever it is, New Year's in Berlin or New Year's in San Francisco or New Year's in Bombay or wherever it is. How would I use your technology as a complement or in addition to what I'm doing in East Berlin?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways we can actually activate and do some and power up that experience in a really cool way. One of them is we call Magic Mirror, where it's a way to take traditional two-dimensional content of a recording of your performance in Berlin and stream that to the entire world. But rather than, traditionally someone just watching that on a phone or a laptop, to go inside virtual reality, inside the headset with other friends and fans dancing at that event. That's one way of doing it. Another way we call Artist Link, which is a true bespoke virtual reality experience where you drive an avatar inside a world, putting on the headset, dealing with virtual instruments, a virtual stage, a virtual crowd, all participants coming in to share that experience. So it's about the depth of the experience, about creating new ways for people to interact with that music and the fans.
And is the same music that's popular in reality, is it the same music that's popular in virtual reality? Or do people have different taste in virtual reality? Or obviously there's a subset of human beings who even use virtual reality, so you're kind of self-selecting for a certain group, which I'm assuming is younger and more tech-oriented. I'm just curious how the musical taste compares.
Absolutely. So, that was one of the key foundations when I started to create this, was I realized I can't just build this as my own Eric's favorites. That everyone has their own ideal experience. So the foundation of Soundscape is you can go in and listen to any music you want. You just turn on your streaming service, whether it's Apple Music, Google, Spotify, whatever. You can play the music, goes directly into the world, activates all sorts of audio reactive features within the environment and brings the world to life based on the unique music that you play. So you can either choose your music or you can tune in to a curated selection of artists that we've worked with.
Few things that I can think of are more so, like a music festival is a physical experience. People go because there's cute girls and there's cute guys and there's, crazy weather and I'm in the desert or I'm on the mountain or I'm wherever I am. And there's drugs and there's alcohol and all these things. None of that exists in a virtual concert, right? So I guess I'm curious don't you think people want to go to music festivals? I mean, obviously you do. And so I'm sure no one's going to say no to that, but I'm kind of curious where this fits into the social momentum, which is really powerful when it comes to something like a music festival.
Absolutely. I mean, no one loves live music more than I do. I started the company in Colorado, so I can be right next to Red Rocks Amphitheater, one of the best music venues in the world. The goal of Soundscape has never been to replace the live music experience, which is phenomenal, but rather to supplement it and augment it, because the reality is not everybody lives in a place where they have access to the hot concert coming through town. People have jobs, people have families where they can't go to a concert on a Tuesday night at 9 p.m. because they have to take care of their kids, and the cost of getting a babysitter and getting to the venue starts to add up. So, Soundscape is about giving that tool, kind of like Netflix does with movies, where you don't want to go to the theater, but you want to do something at home. Now we're an option. And just because you can't, go to the top of a real world mountain in Soundscape or the desert, like you said, doesn't mean we can't create some absolutely incredible hyper immersive spaces that feel just as magical as something in the real world, where you can go to the deep space inside of a nebula and watch Soundscape. You can go to a bioluminescent forest glowing at sunset in Soundscape, and some really amazing places where the visual effects and the things we can create, it's like a drug. It's like a virtual version of a drug, and that kind of community experience you get with music, where people come together, they're dancing side by side, they're feeding off that energy of one another. It's all possible inside of your virtual reality.
And then I was reading in the background, it says that you're not doing any embedded advertising. Like, it sounds like you have a sort of a moral position relative to web-based economics, which are largely around either data sales or embedding various advertising, embedding various sort of token gating aspects. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. It's one of the most important things of Soundscape. Soundscape was originally created first as a Burning Man art installation. Burning Man is a place of no corporate sponsorship that feels very different from the real world. And I knew with an intimate technology like VR, people were going to be more sensitive about their data and privacy focus, especially with someone like Zuckerberg, leading up the competition. So Soundscape's been built as this pure place for music lovers with no ads, no data selling, no NFTs, none of the kind of BS that you see in the normal world polluting these experiences. Rather, it's just a free place to love music and come together. And I think that is going to really resonate with people when you again look at someone like Zuckerberg and needing to find a way to compete there asymmetrically with someone who has near limitless resources. So that's how we do it, is by building a better place that people actually want to go, rather than into Zuckerberg's dystopia.
And then, what are the economics for your business? How do you create a business and maintain compliance with the sort of the critical edge that you described, which is that you are not polluting it with the sort of toxic digital economics?
Absolutely. So, the plan with Soundscape is similar to the real world as music, as far as, ticketing sales and merchandise, are the main drivers of revenue. When you look at traditional concerts or festivals, we believe the same can happen in Soundscape via our microtransactions, where you can upgrade your avatar or unlock new features within the world. There's still a lot of revenue streams besides just tapping into advertising and falling quickly into Facebook meta path of just monetizing the experience in every way possible. But the reality is that the state of the metaverse right now, the state of virtual reality, there's no one out there that's making money right now. It's all a matter of how much money are you losing, positioning yourself for that future point. So, we think building the foundations right now of a really pure, awesome space for music is more important than trying to make capture your data and sell it off.
And where do you come down on the great headset debate?
My favorite headset is the Valve Index, not a Meta headset. It's Valve is a solid company with they own the platform Steam, which is the largest games distribution platform in the world. Another privately held company that you can feel good about supporting, and they're the good guys in this battle. We do support Meta headsets with Soundscape because we understand there's a lot of people out there who have those headsets due to the price point. But I'm definitely a bigger fan of Valve's hardware.
And then, what's your opinion? Is there a place for what you're offering, not so much in virtual reality where you're fully immersed in the headset, but rather in augmented reality where it's through an iPad or some such of a? Is there a place for Soundscape in AR?
Absolutely. So we just launched 3 weeks ago Soundscape PC, and that's the same version of Soundscape VR that people know and love, except you can go in through a desktop computer into the same worlds in a shared environment. So let's say you don't have a VR headset, or you just want to hop into a concert really quick. You just turn on your laptop, load into the game, and control an avatar in that same universe. We've already expanded that as well to some handheld devices. So it's a natural extension from there that you'll end up on an iPad, or really any screen, as we call it, and be able to tap into that world from home and really just choose your device on how immersed you want to be, because that's really the foundation of VR and the metaverse. It's all about the immersion, and it's about how deep do you want to go in at any moment.
And are you imagining, or maybe if it's already happened, could a person become a popular musician on Soundscape? So
Absolutely.
let's say I'm a musician who I do not have any real life. I'm not a performer in real life. I don't do have a. I don't even. I use a different name, right? I have a different identity in the Soundscape metaverse where I am a musician or a DJ or whatever. Does that exist?
It's in progress. Absolutely. It's another foundational idea of Soundscape to democratize touring, where in the normal world, you can only become a famous musician generally if you have the support of a big label. You have a lot of resources to tour and crew to travel around the country with you, setting up these stages and breaking them down every night. That the bigger artists have the more impressive light shows and lasers and all that kind of thing. But in Soundscape, anyone can go in there from home and potentially take stage of the biggest stage in the universe. So we think there's a lot of potential there to enable new people to rise and show and display their music, where they might be just a bedroom producer making something at home, being great with their instrument, but they don't have the resources to take that to the world. Now Soundscape is that tool to go to the world's biggest stage with the world's best production and show your music in ultimate form. So that's absolutely coming, and exciting to see what that will do to the music industry.
And then in theory, somebody who did that, who has a big following in the metaverse, could then translate that into physical events as a set. Yeah.
You could go in reverse. Absolutely.
And is there a style of music that is particularly popular right now?
There's definitely a lot of different genres that have a lot of popularity right now. It depends on what you're listening to. I would say Soundscape in general, we feature electronic music first and foremost, but we also have some great rock bands, some jam bands, and we're always expanding the platform. Just looking at the demand of what do people want to hear, what do people get passionate about, and tapping into new artists to bring something new to the platform. But I've also seen people use play opera music in Soundscape, jazz, unconventional things you wouldn't normally accept. Correlate to a high level of technology like Soundscape, but the foundations are there to do anything.
So in theory, you could have a performance at the Metropolitan Opera on Soundscape.
Absolutely.
Just as much as you could have a rave in Berlin. It's all
exactly.
The same.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what is the biggest barrier to your growth at this point?
Really Facebook and the metaverse in general, that you have this new technology that people are excited about, yet you have this other company coming in Zuckerberg that people have a very strong, negative reaction to and very concerned, where, in a very short amount of time, the idea of the metaverse has gone from something very exciting to something that a lot of people are now afraid of, rightfully so, based on the history of Facebook and their involvement in technology. So, we're always fighting this battle of, trying to inform people that we're not Facebook. We have nothing to do with Zuckerberg. He's not building our product, but there's a lot of hesitancy there just due to the players involved now and the adoption of the technology.
Do you think that there'll be room for a non-Facebook actor, or do you think that the Facebook monopoly will ultimately prevail?
I absolutely think there's room for many players who are not Facebook, because the difference now is that, in 2004, when Facebook was coming online, the only real competitor at that time was MySpace. Zuckerberg was ahead of the curve. He got in early, which is important to do in a space like that. But now with the onset of the metaverse, it's not the same playing field. They're trying to recreate that same environment by doing all these acquisitions, by throwing $4 billion a quarter into their development, and that's their only path to victory, is if they can get so far ahead of everyone else that no one else even has a chance. But the difference now is that people were working on this before they were. There's a lot of passion behind here. I don't think they're going to have the same just takeover of the space that you saw with, social media version 1.
Got it. Soundscape is the company. Eric, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're watching Tasty Live. This is Bootstrapping. I'm Dylan Radigan. More right after this.